Right now, I have the pleasure to speak with Lionel Tannerre. He works for a company that actually creates a strange animal. It's called captive insurance. Hi, Lionel. How you doing?
Philip, good on yourself.
Well, it's very exciting to see you. Last time I saw you was a few years back in Ticino, somewhere in southern Switzerland.
Yes, correct. It was in 2020 when I flew from Zurich to go to Ticino during or just after COVID because it was a moment to take some holidays and it was a lovely moment to spend with you.
Yeah, that was, and actually, I just see you here at Risk in 2024. So we were having a chat on what you do, and you told me that you create captive. What does that mean, and why should we do that?
Yeah. So technically, we are a captive manager. So when you are an insurance, you say a big group like a food industry, you make a lot of millions or even billions, and obviously you have insurance, and you pay premiums for your property insurance, for example, a lot of money, and all the money goes to your insurer. But you do also maybe sometimes a good loss prevention, and you think, but why I pay this high premium to my insurer when technically my risk is low? So it's a moment you get to start to think, but can I have as a solution than insurance? And one of the solutions is a captive.
So basically, you create your own. It's a big group, and you create your own internal insurance company, or actually company that department that connects with insurance companies and manages this.
Yes, in fact, you're fully right. You create your own insurance company that usually is licensed in a jurisdiction, could be Switzerland, Luxembourg, Guernsey, whatever. And that's usually, if you take Switzerland, it's a reinsurance company. So you have different type of license depending on the size of the business. But what we do as a company, we help the client to go through this journey. So first stage is to assess, is it feasible or not? So you contact us, we do with you a feasibility study. We look which jurisdiction or domicile you can choose based on, not tax because we are not doing this part, but based on your preferences. And if we find a solution, it's viable, we can together create a captive.
And where do you create them? You mentioned you have Switzerland, you might have Luxembourg, Liechtenstein. Do you have where do you create them? How many of these captives are there?
Okay, so we create captive in many countries. So for us, we have a company based in the US, but also active in Europe. In Europe, for example, jurisdiction, Guernsey, Ireland, Luxembourg, Malta, Gibraltar. So the big players. Now you start also to have new players like France, because they have
France, really?
Yes, a new regulation that allow to have the creation of captive. Italy is going in that direction. We are not involved, but in the case of Italy is also going in the direction. The big players are Guernsey, Luxembourg. Luxembourg is about 280 captive, if I'm not wrong, and Guernsey something like 400. So don't take those numbers or figures are correct, but
just to have an idea,
a rough estimate. And Switzerland is about 25 captive.
Okay, and so you create these companies, and you said these are considered as insurance companies or reinsurance companies?
Usually reinsurance companies. So meaning you have, when you're the company, you're a big group, you place your insurance with a fronter. Let's say Zurich, AXA, whatever. And this fronter will have the full distribution. So they go in different countries, you have where you have factories and this kind of things, and you will have local policies. And at the moment, insurers, they reinsure. So they insure, I don't know, Munich Re, Swiss Re. In that case, will be your captive Re. And
okay, yeah.
That's the reason. And for this, you really need to have a license from the regulator because it's a regulated activity. And for having this license, you need to have the right person in it. A general manager, an actuary, an accountant, and is where we come in the second step.
But can't I just create a little department? I put some specialists in insurance in there, in my big multinational company doing production or whatever, and I say, look, manage insurance the best you can, and can't I do that instead of going through the hassle of creating captive?
Probably not, because as is regulated, you are not allowed to do reinsurance if you are not approved by your regulator. So obviously you can go to your insurer, let's say Zurich, for example, you can go and say, yeah, but guys, you're not a reinsurance company.
So if I say, okay, all right, I don't want to create this captive reinsurance. I have a department of people who are specialists in insurance, and they coordinate then the big needs of insurance with a reinsurer. Can this be done?
So in that case, you will create a department that will be in charge, like internal broker, for placement. So that's a different animal. It fully exists. Usually big groups will have this kind of activities. They will have kind of internal broker, and they will have the captive. But there are two different activities.
Okay, well, Lionel, thank you very much for this very interesting information. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.